The Ukraine war is also about the new world order. Is there a step backwards to the old game of powers with spheres of influence, or can the rule-based order preferred by the Europeans be continued? By backing Russian President Vladimir Putin, China and India are on the other side, diplomats lament. At a video summit on Friday, the leaders of the EU still wanted to try to influence state and party leader Xi Jinping. He is said to use his influence on Putin to end the war soon. An impossible task for Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Council President Charles Michel? Well, relations with China are already more tense than ever. The Europeans criticized the persecution of the Uyghurs and Tibetans, the suppression of the opposition in Hong Kong, China's saber-rattling against Free Taiwan, and its pressure on small EU members. An investment agreement has also been on hold since Chinese sanctions against EU representatives. Now, the Ukraine crisis is exacerbating the tensions. Beijing portrays the Europeans, the USA, and NATO as the main culprits. During a visit to China, the foreign ministers of Russia and China, Sergei Lavrov and Wang Yi, just demonstrated their solidarity. Once the Ukraine crisis has been resolved, Lavrov sounded confident of victory, and together with other like-minded people, they would move towards a multipolar, just and democratic world order. Wang Yi agreed that relations had passed new tests since the beginning of the year and were moving in the right direction. New Delhi, where Lavrov was holding talks on Friday, also does not support the Western sanctions. Like China, it did not condemn the invasion either. The Europeans and the USA tried in vain to persuade the country to criticize the Russian war of aggression. But India has long maintained close ties with Moscow. Much of its military's equipment comes from Russia. It is arming itself against rivals China and Pakistan and is already dependent on Moscow for spare parts. India also wants to buy Russian oil. So New Delhi is in a dilemma since it also maintains good relations with Washington and prefers to stay out of it. China, on the other hand, is much more actively pursuing a kind of pro-Russian neutrality, as diplomats call it. A contradiction in terms, though. In addition, China also provides argumentative backing. The eastward expansion of NATO, led by the United States, is at the root of the Ukraine crisis, writes the party organ Renmin Rinbao, which means People's Daily. NATO is a tool of the United States. Like Russia, China does not speak of war or invasion, but of special military operations. China distinguishes between rhetoric, which is pro-Russian, and diplomacy, which is more balanced, and real action, which lacks support for Russia, Yun Sun of Washington's Stimson Center think tank said in the South China Morning Post. The rhetoric is primarily aimed at the home audience to make China's support for Russia as a geostrategic partner in the rivalry against the USA appear fair. And how about the deeds? In fact, China's banks were among the first to implement Western sanctions to avoid becoming a target themselves. There are also reports of Chinese oil companies holding back on projects in Russia because they don't know if they are seeing their money. In the end, China is pursuing its own interests alone, but wants to secure Russia's support so it can continue to fight together against the United States, which is at the heart of all Chinese activities, as experts say. Only a few Chinese intellectuals dare to warn that this is putting China on the wrong side of history. Hu Wei, vice chairman of the research center at the Beijing State Council, argued in an article in the US-China Perception Monitor, Censored in China, being in the same boat as Putin will have repercussions for China if he loses power. And Hu Wei advises, parting with Putin and abandoning neutrality will help China's international image and facilitate relations with the US and the West. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.